Majzoub, who's the Lebanon researcher at Human Rights Watch. She's in Beirut itself. Aya, sorry about that, and thanks so much indeed for coming back. Just to remind the viewers about the context of this, Hezbollah had called for these protests because a court had ruled that the investigation into last year's port explosion could continue. You were essentially, I believe, indicating to us that you believe that Hezbollah is trying to make sure that there isn't full accountability for what happened last year.
Absolutely. I mean, as I was saying, they've used every trick in their playbook to try to evade accountability. They initially, when Judge Bitar first started calling in and charging high-level security officials and politicians, which is unprecedented for Lebanon, Hezbollah immediately launched into a full-scale attack against the judge. First, some Hezbollah-affiliated media outlets started spreading baseless accusations that the judge was politicized and was an agent of the U.S. in Lebanon. And then you had all of the former ministers who were charged in the case launch several arbitrary legal proceedings against the judge in the hopes of getting a court to suspend the investigation or to replace the judge. When that didn't work, a Hezbollah security operative sent a very direct threat to Judge Bitar, basically saying, we will try to remove you by legal means, and if those fail, we will remove you through other means. And I think today is what they meant by other means. They have tried to claim that the protest was peaceful, but we saw videos of protesters coming to the scene of the protest armed with RPGs, AK-47s, and chanting sectarian chants. This is part of their attempt to kill the investigation. And one of the trending hashtags in Lebanon today is Bitar, the name of the judge. This blood is on your hands. So they're really trying to do everything that they can to stop this investigation so that they're not held accountable for something as big as the Beirut blast. But here I want to point out one thing, that the implications, the reason that Hezbollah has been so strongly opposed to this investigation, because what is at stake is not just justice for the Beirut blast, but it's really changing the culture of impunity in Lebanon, and it's building a country based on the rule of law and accountability. What this judge is doing in calling in senior officials from very major political parties who were previously untouchable, what he's doing through calling them in for interrogation really threatens not just Hezbollah, but the entire ruling establishment. But Hezbollah has taken up this fight really on behalf of the establishment and against justice and accountability.
In terms of governance, in terms of the relationship between civil society and the political elite, is there any way that this could be a critical moment, possibly even a turning point where people say, look, this example, if we get this right, it might be the way forward, because we have been protesting not only for months, not only for a year or so, but for longer about the failure of our political system that clearly doesn't deliver for the majority of the people.
You're absolutely right. The fight for justice for the Beirut blast is not limited to the case of the Beirut blast. Activists, the families of the victims, civil society groups here in Lebanon are all really adamant that there needs to be justice for this explosion because of what it would signal for the future of the country if there weren't. It would signal that political parties and the powerful in Lebanon can literally get away with murder and they won't be held accountable. So really, this is a fight not just about justice for the Beirut blast, but it's a fight for the future of Lebanon and the kind of state that we want to build in Lebanon.
Aya, thank you so much and really appreciate your coming back to us. Aya Majzoub in Beirut.